Hey everybody, this is an update on um, the last video I just got through doing with that caramel color in it. Now, I couldn't remember exactly when I got this chameleon powders. It was a set of 8. It was way back in May. And so I decided, I went back through and they are still available. They're like over $18, almost 19. For just the set of 8. I did find others that were lower cost and a pack of 10 different colors. And so this yellow, orange, red that I liked so well mixed with this yellow. This yellow was $7. So what I'm going to do is, I forgot to film this part, but I took these two here and I put most of the chameleon powder into this little jar here, this little pot with lid, as you can see. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to make a resin paste out of it so that I can only use a little bit to gain a lot. And this jar here is not quite empty. It's close, but it's not quite empty. So of course I am going to have to order more. And then in this pot, I went ahead and made the proportions the same as in my last video with that pumpkin and the caramel. And this is the part I forgot to make sure I filmed, but it's basically one giant heaping spoon. These are little dessert spoons. And one heaping yellow. And I'm hoping I got the proportions correct in this little jar. Okay, don't tap it because it flies. But this also is going to become a resin paste. Hopefully. Hopefully it'll turn out to be the same caramel color. So I'll bring you back in a moment after I've added. Now you can add either A or B of epoxy resin. You cannot add both, of course, because then you just end up with a brick. However, you can divide up, make 2 pots, 1A, 1B, and then use a little bit of A and a little bit of B. And then that way you don't have to worry about that too much epoxy paste into your resin piece, because you're actually going to be putting the same amount of A to the same amount of B, and that way it offsets the problem cures. So I'll be right back as soon as I get that mixed up. Okay, I just wanted to add that before you add your resin to the little pots, what you want to do, so I'm going to do this one with you, is you want to make sure that this mica breaks down. So right here I have some 91%, I don't have 99%, isopropyl alcohol. You just bring up a little bit in a pipette, and you want to add a few drops. Now remember, alcohol dissipates, so you want to make this wet enough so that it breaks the mica down itself. Okay, not enough. Which is why I fill my pipette. Okie doke. And don't do that. You don't want to get it over wet. You want to make sure it's wet enough, but not over wet. And the alcohol helps the breakdown of the mica. Let's see if I can get it up to you a little closer. And it becomes kind of a slurry. And it may take a few minutes of stirring and breaking it down before you get somewhere with it. This will also help to see if the color you're trying to achieve is there. And I believe that is just a little bit too yellow. It's not the pretty caramel color yet. And which is why I put very little yellow actually compared to what it could have been, and kept this little portion. And yes, I really could have done this in this jar, but I kind of prefer not to, because this jar is my representative jar. Oop. Okay, that's the end of that. If I have to have more, I've got to take it out of the other little pot. So get this stirred around. See how the color starts coming out. And no, I really don't mind losing the mic or the chameleon effect. But that looks like I did that to the color I was looking for. Add a little bit more alcohol. Get it stirred in. Of course, scrape. And these little pots right here are perfect for doing this. They have no upper ridge. And they don't have any of those goofy inset parts on the bottom, so that you can get a full stir in. And it looks like I achieved the caramel color that I'd had in that last pour. However, of course, the proof is in the resin. All right, now I'll let most of that alcohol dissipate. And the resin I've chosen is part A, because I have quite a bit more of A than B this time around. I don't know if you can see, but that's the color that's been achieved this time. And it's real close to the caramel. I think it might need a little bit more of the color shift, the chameleon. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead. Oh my goodness, I did not tighten it like that, did I? And add a little bit more of this, but just a very little bit more. So I'm using a much smaller spoon. And I think we're going to go with just that little itty bitty bit. Close that up in case a cat jumps up here. And I'm just going to use this wet stick to pull the rest of that off of there. And of course I lose some on the side here, but that's all right, we'll get it. Okay, let's see what happens now. Oh, yep, that did it. That gave me the caramel I was looking for. So remember, when you're doing something like this for yourself, you start with the basic ratios that you think you did. And then you go from there and add, or you can't subtract, but you can add what you need to get to your color. And there's my color. So it is now that caramel color. Now at this point in time, since it's got the mica mostly broke down, I will let it finish breaking down a little bit more while it dissipates on the alcohol. And I'll put you on pause and I will do the other little pot there with its alcohol for the breakdown. And then I'll be back after I put the resin in. Although I might put the resin in on camera for you, at least on one. All right, back in a sec. Okay, these are ready to add resin to. Before you add the resin, stir one more time. Make sure it's completely broken up. Okay, that one's perfect for it. Okay, this one's got just a little bit extra, so it'll go on the last round. Now, as I said, I have more part A than B, so I am using the A to make these pastes. These little jars don't hold much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a pipette. I put 10 ml into this cup here, and we will see how much I can get into and still be able to stir so that I can get enough to make a difference without going overboard. Let that suck up some. No, I'm not wearing gloves at this time because I'm not fully tired this time around. I might actually get away with doing this. If you don't feel comfortable doing it without gloves, please wear your gloves. As a matter of fact, I would suggest you do that anyway because some people have allergies to it or can develop allergies. Okay. And the only thing I've gotten on me so far is flake or powder. Okay. And because this is going to be highly pigmented, you'll only want to, that sounds so bad, you'll only want to put a small amount in your resin depending on how much resin you're pouring at the time. Always scrape and then scrape your stick. And it won't be a paste just yet until everything evaporates. You know, the alcohol and water content. The water content should have already been as much evaporated as well. It is thin at this point, so I'm going to leave it open. I will not fill it completely because you always want to stir before you use each time. However, I will add a little bit more. And now this is just to the bottom rim of the threads for the lid. Get this stirred up nicely. Now see it how it pours off if you can. Oops, maybe if I get it in camera. At this stage it does pour. So as I said, we leave it open a little bit longer so that the rest of the alcohol can go away. And then we're going to go ahead and stir this one back around. See how we're going here? I added a lot of alcohol to this one. I didn't mean to, but well, that was one of those things for me. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and begin adding. Let that fill up on its own again. That is a very pretty color. It does have the color shift in different lighting situations. See if I can get it to show. I can see it against the inside of the jar, but it's hard to tell otherwise. Now remember, this is yellow, orange, red. It almost even has a purple tint to it. But I can see the yellow in it, and I can see the orange. Okay, let's let that one sit for a minute. I have little stickers made up for the yellow, orange, red with the yellow. To make the caramel color, I've got caramel written across the bottom here. It's very hard to see. And yellow, orange, red on this one here. This one here, I tried to use a different pen. It didn't work. I do have to purchase some more of these really small labels. So what I'm going to do is put this on its little pot, jar, whatever you want to call them. I think it's a jar because it's not really meant for stirring, mixing. Of course, this one's going to be a pain in the rear to remove. Yes, I know. Daddy locked you in the room with me without thinking. It's a good thing you're smart enough to jump up here. And then we just put it on the side. You're actually supposed to put it on the lid, but I find it better to... Oh, wow, that didn't stay very well. I guess I need to find a better marker. And clean my thumb off. Okay, this is getting there. And yes, the more you stir it while it's evaporating, the better off you are. And I don't want this to be an hour-long video on just this, so I'm going to pause you here. I'm at almost 23 and a half minutes. I'll be right back. All right. These are finished except for one thing. I'm still waiting for the alcohol to dissipate. There's a lot of kinetic energy going on in there right now. I've got mica bubbling in both pots. This one, not so much now. It's still there, though. So I cannot cap them until that kinetic energy is over. Otherwise, there's a small chance of an explosion. So, you know, a little bit of jar burst all over. I don't want that. So I'm going to end this video here. And in the next video, I know it has nothing to do with fall, autumn, or harvest. But I'm going to go ahead and use these two in kind of a harvest coloration with the little bloody hands earrings. All right, so until the next video, you people all take care. Like the video, you know, hit that thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't, and to my subscribers, you guys are wonderful. Of course, if you do subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when the new videos are coming out. Leave a comment. I don't live for them, but they really do sometimes make my day. Even if it's, you know, constructive criticism. It doesn't matter. It's interaction. It's an engagement. And as a reminder, also, I am plateaued out at 172 subscribers. And I'm going to check one more time just to make sure. Yes, 172 subscribers. And so I still have, oh boy, 78 to go before I can get that 250 for that special giveaway. So engage with me and we'll see what happens. Okay, share if you want, of course. Y'all take care. Peace out.